Nope, okay, so that didn't work. Alrighty, let's see if this works. Is it working? Let's see. Is it working? I don't even know. It's not. Is it working now? I think it's working. I don't know. We're having some audio issues. Okay, yeah, looks like it's working. I think you. Okay, so you guys can hear me now. I don't know what the hell happened there, but we were having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna go ahead and really quick just delete the other stream because yeah, I don't know what the heck was happening there. Audio is all messed up. I guess that's why you should always do a pre-check. But let me just delete this and I'll go back through this one more time here. So we were talking about the website changes. So I'll kind of just speed this along for everybody that was previously here. And yeah. So let me just I'm gonna pop out the chat so that way I could see if there's any issues here. Again, I can see it. All right, boom, there we go. It sucks doing a live stream on such a small monitor. A little better, but still pretty quiet. I don't know if there's anything else I could do about it. Let's see. Waiting for it to load on my phone. What's going on here? Anyway, okay, audio is good, better now. All right, I don't know. We're gonna roll with it. I think. I don't know. I'll just try and speak up, and hopefully it picks it up. It's a little low. I don't know. I don't quite know why, but yeah. So anyway, welcome to another live stream here on the channel. Today I wanted to kind of go over the website. We made some major changes to pricing and shipping structures and all that. Pretty much it comes down to pricing, and it's overall better for the end consumers. So before we used to have it priced a bit higher as far as the plants go, and our shipping cost was a bit lower. So now we adjusted the shipping to be a bit higher and the plants to be way lower. So what I did basically in December of last year is I went through kind of plant pricing. I made a bunch of spreadsheets and I was looking into things and realized that it was kind of I wanted to do free shipping on plants at a really cheap price, but it was going to cost us a lot of money, so I had to adjust plant prices. So we adjusted the plant prices up to roughly about $10 per plant, and then we dropped the shipping price down to $6 and gave free shipping on orders of $30 or more. Now, what I realized is that those price points were a little too high, and people were still buying stuff because it's still overall a good value when you get free shipping and you factor that in with no cost of ice packs or heat packs, because we also did away with charging customers for those. I kind of just wanted to make it simple, like you only got to worry about picking out the plants you want and paying for shipping if your order isn't over $30, and that's it. You don't got to worry about heat packs or cold packs or installation or anything like that. So I had to build that into the cost of the overall order and how that works. So after the last 6 months or so, we realized that orders still maintained a good pace, but overall we had a kind of a sales drop in overall volume of orders, which was kind of to be expected because you know, when you raise prices and people are used to paying something, you know, they're gonna you know, if they're not able to pay those prices, they're obviously not going to be able to buy anymore. So overall, though, it was better for the end consumer when you did the math of things and how much we had to charge for shipping before and what we're charging now, or what we were charging, and now what we're doing with shipping. So the major changes from our old model to this new model now are we had $6 as the shipping fee to now $10. But before the whole change in December, it was $9.50. So it was only a 50 cents increase from what it used to be about 6 months ago. So it's not a huge change when you really think about that. The one thing, though, that we did manage to keep was keeping the order price to get free shipping still at $30. So you buy $30 worth of anything, and it ships for free. That goes for wood, fertilizer, plants, rocks, everything $30 and up is free. Is a free shipping, so you don't pay the shipping cost on that. Now, we did decrease all the plants by about 30%. So usually, most plants. Let's just take a look at the carpeting plants, I guess. So before the carpeting plants used to be about $10 each. So the broadleaf chainsaw, the dwarf sedge, four-leaf clover, all this was like $10 per portion. And that was, obviously a bit higher than the $7. So it was, it kind of worked out. But now you kind of get a better deal because you're getting 30% off. Now, some things like physidins here, mosses were more expensive. I think we had this at $25, so we almost cut it in half. And that just is because of the way we price the shipping and all that. It makes it a bit better. Tissue cultures also used to be about $15. Now they're 10 or 12, depending on what they are. Some are a little bit more expensive than others. And that all just comes down to the cost that it overall costs us to get it from our suppliers. So the thing that this is beneficial for is anybody that orders more than one plant, essentially. For people that order one plant, you're paying slightly more than what you used to, because what it used to be was $10 for a plant if you just picked out a $10 plant, so it'd be $10 for the plant, $6 for shipping, so it'd be $16. Now, if you order just one plant and you pay the shipping, so it's $7 for the plant, $10 for the shipping, it's $17. So it's a $1 increase for people that only order one plant. But the moment that you order more than one plant, you get a way better deal, because for the way it used to be was you order two plants for $10 each, plus the $6 shipping, it would be $26. Now you order two plants for $7 each, pay the $10 shipping, because your order total would only be $14 and you only paid $24, so you'd save $2 there. Now, the big change is when you get over $30, you're saving a lot more money, because at $10 each, what it used to be is you would only order 3 plants, you'd meet that threshold, and you would get that going. But now, essentially, you would have to order, 7, 14, 21, 28. You get 5 plants for $35, and you still get free shipping. So it's a way better thing. So you get essentially 2 more plants. I mean, you're paying technically slightly more than what $30 option was, but you're getting more for it. So overall, it works out. And that's kind of key. We wanted to keep it to that kind of method, because what I was explaining in the previous live stream, when people only order one plant, that costs us pretty much just as much as it costs us to do 3 plants. And that is from the standpoint of the labor, the packaging, all that included in those prices. If you order 3 plants, it's roughly about the same cost as it is to do one plant, because a lot of the bulk of the labor is in the packaging. Going through, we check everybody's weather to make sure that they either need a heat pack or cold pack. They get one. We also make sure that they're wrapped in insulation if they do. So that takes quite a bit of time to go through every single order and look at their area to see if their weather is above or below certain temperatures. So that's a huge upfront cost per order. So then you have packaging and putting the plants in the box and wrapping them and making sure that they're packed in a way that they're not going to get crushed or damaged, and also labeling. So all that kind of goes in the upfront cost per box, essentially. If you have 10 boxes, that's all, let's just say $5 per order that costs us to do. So no matter how many plants you ordered. So if you order, over like 10 plants, then it becomes a little more costly, because then it's more labor to pack 10 plants. But to pack 1 plant versus packing 3 or 5 or 8 plants is roughly about the same price. So you essentially save money the more you order. And that's really what I wanted to do, because I realized we had a drop in overall sales, and I know that's because the plants were priced higher than our competitors, but at the same time you still got the benefits of free shipping. So it just kind of worked out. So but now it's much better. Now it's much more consumer friendly. I think we have the lowest free shipping threshold out of anybody that sells plants online. I don't think you'll find somebody that has their threshold lower than $50 from what I've seen. So $30 is a super low entry. You get a bunch of plants, you get free shipping. We don't lose any money. We make a little bit of money. And that was the kind of thing that it took me. I laid out a huge spreadsheet. It was really in depth, every single cost to every single item, and then what would be the cheapest amount we could sell it for to make a certain amount of profit at the end of the day, because it is a business. I'm trying to be profitable, but my whole thing is, if I don't know if anybody's into stocks, but I look at it as in the stock market. If I had my money invested in the stock market versus doing this business, what would I expect as a return? Now, I know a bunch of people say, oh, they want 20 and 30% returns. That's not usually realistic. So what is a good return rate on your money in the stock market? It's usually between 4 and 8%, depending on the market and the stocks that you're buying and all that. If anybody's familiar with stock market, they'll understand. If you're not, this may kind of be over your head a little bit. You may not care. But so I looked at it that way. I looked at it, okay, I have to invest this time and money into this business, and I have my capital tied up in this business. I need to kind of rival the stock market with that 4 to 8% return on every dollar that I spend. So basically, for every dollar that it costs me, I should make back 4 to 8 cents, basically, right? Is that I'm calculating that right? Yeah, 4 to 8 cents. Just want to make sure I'm doing the math right in my head. So that's kind of the concept. So realistically, if somebody orders a $10 order, I make 40 cents on the deal, 4 to 80 cents on the deal, depending on like the overall cost and plants and all that, and that's for worst case scenarios. So that is ultimately, before the profit margins were much higher, but we got a lot less orders. So I slimmed down the profit margins a lot to really hopefully encourage more people to buy, make it more consumer friendly, make it easier to order, make it easier on your budgets, because I know this is an expensive hobby, or it can be an expensive hobby, and that's just kind of the overall ideas behind this. So what we did is I still kept, and this was things that I were debating on doing. If I wanted to keep the bulk discounts. So the bulk discounts is when you order more than one of one particular plant. So if you were to order 6 dwarf stats specifically, you would get 12% off, and that's the 12% off that one, those items. And then if you order another plant, you would need to order another 6 of those to get additional 12% off that one. So I wanted to do it in a way that it made sense for the end consumer, where if you were setting up a big tank, you could get a lot of discount on your plants. If you're, when somebody's setting up a large aquarium, even a small aquarium, and you need a lot of one particular plant, it's just cheaper to, when somebody orders a lot, it's cheaper on us that they order, 6 of these. I can then take a lot of money off, because it's just easier on us to pack 6 of the same plant versus packing 6 different plants. So that's why I wanted to keep the bulk discount. I think it's important for the hobby to have that available, because not a lot of companies that sell plants have bulk discounts. And let's just face it, if you're setting up a large aquarium, anything above a 40-gallon tank, and you're really trying to set it up and make it look nice, buying plants at full retail price and not getting a bulk discount is tough on the wallet. And I understand that, because back when I used to order plants without this business, it was costly. So that's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to keep that going. Now, the thing that I'm still struggling with, but for now I'm keeping it, is the rewards program. And let me see. So this is the rewards program here. You can earn money essentially off plants or off your order by doing any one of these things. So, and I don't know if a lot of people know about, we have a decent amount of people signed up for the rewards program, but I figured I'd just kind of go over it real quick. We have share on Facebook, like on Facebook, follow on Instagram, share on Twitter, or follow on Twitter, review. If you review a product, if you place an order, sign up, and put in your birthday. So you get all these trimming points to basically get future coupons off your orders. So when you sign up, you instantly get 250 trimmings. And then if you do all these social media things, you get another 250. If you review a product, you get 250. And so ultimately, what it comes down to is you do all these things and you get to redeem them for coupons. So ways to spend. So here you go. You need 500 trimming points. You get $5 off. You get $10 off for 1,000, $25 off for 200 or 2,500, and so on and so forth. And it just keeps going up. Basically, for every dollar you spend in the store, you get 10% back. That's the way I want to kind of structure it. That's the way it's always been. I didn't change that. That is still debatable how I want to structure this. For right now, I'm leaving it alone. I want to see what happens over the next, I don't know, 3 months or so. And then, if anything, I'll revisit it at that time, and I'll see what's going on with the overall percentage of people buying and orders, and if, you know, if my calculations were right as far as profitability. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. But the rewards program, I'm still iffy on if I want to keep or kind of restructure or just eliminate entirely. But for right now, it's there. So take advantage of it. You get 10% back on every purchase. Just sign up for it. It automatically tracks. Also, when you get your products, if you enjoyed your products, leave a review, and you get another $250, basically $2.50 back. On top of that, you could also use it to do referrals. If you send once you sign up, you get a referral link, and you send your referral link to your friend. They order plants. They instantly get 10% off their first order, and you get 500 trimming points, which is the equivalent to $5. So for every person you recommend that uses your referral link and places an order, could be for 1 plant, could be for 10 plants, you get $5 in basically store credit. Essentially, you just have to redeem it. So it really works out. So I think those are pretty much the major changes. I tried tidying it up a bit more. We're probably going to do some more updating of the website in general, just some graphical things and you know, that kind of stuff. So nothing that crazy, but that's really it. I hope everybody really likes this. I mean, obviously it's cheaper for the consumer, and this is honestly like the cheapest that I could do without losing money, because back in December, we actually had instances on orders and plants where we were losing lots of money, surprisingly. I guess I didn't figure my math correctly, and then I reran it all, and I figured it out. I was like, oh, yeah, this doesn't make sense. We need to do this. So yeah, so that's what we did. Now, I'm going to jump into the chat for everybody that's here live. I appreciate it. I guess I'll leave this up for now, the website over here. If you guys have any questions about plants or anything like that, feel free to ask in the chat. But let's see what's going on. Madfish Steven, Nisi, how's it going? It's better. Okay, we can hear, but something to look into. Yeah, I think it was my mic that was unplugged or not plugged in the correct way. Can you tell me why my moss ball turned gray? I didn't use CO2. Oh, I didn't use CO2. Have, I guess, soil, just Aquarius rock. How long did you have it for, Andre? Greg Jones, yay, not everything is $10 now. Yeah, pretty much everything got a good 20. I mean, for the most part, it was 30% and up. A few items were 25%, like discounts, basically. So pretty much everything is good, you know. How the heck, or who the heck only orders one plant? Getting over $30, $30 is easy. You'd be surprised how many people only order one plant. That's completely fine if somebody was looking to just, you know, they just wanted one particular plant. I completely understand that. It's just, if you order more, you make it easier on me, and I could give you a bigger discount. So that's why I did it the way I did it, because, you know, at the end of the day, somebody orders one plant, and you know, it's the same amount of time that it costs me to pack 3 to 5 to 8 plants. So, what's up, Otter? How do I order plants from you? You go to my website, h2oplants.com. I will link it in the chat. Oh, Nisi did it too. Thank you, Nisi. Appreciate it. Is there a shipping program that could just automatically check zip codes for you and red flag anything too extreme? So I've seen other plant retailers, not aquatic plants, but other plant retailers actually have something implemented. However, I contacted them and they told me that it was built in-house. It wasn't an actual program that was that like you could just go and click and add it to your system. It was essentially that they had a programmer come in and program it into their website, so that way it did it. That would be lovely. I don't know how much that would cost. I haven't even looked into it, but it's overall, I mean, it does cost, I mean, it's probably about an hour, usually about every week for Jake or I to do it. Usually it's Jake, sometimes I do it. to look at everybody's zip codes, because we essentially just wait until we're ready to pack the orders, and that's why we only ship out 2 days a week, because one, we don't have enough, like, we have a large amount of orders, but we don't have enough orders to justify Jake coming in for, 2 hours every day to send out orders. Like some people have, brick, and we ship out on a Monday or a Wednesday, and we pack it the night before, so that, we pack it on Sundays, and then we pack it on Tuesday evenings to ship out the following day. So it's a little bit easier for us to go through everybody's order all at once, so we do that right before we're ready to start packing up the orders. So Sella, is that? I think that's how you pronounce it. Hey, I just received my first purchase. I'm so excited. Yay! I'm glad. I hope everything came in well. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. What's your view on lava rocks as filter media? I actually use a bunch of lava rocks for filter media. I think they're cheap, easy, they work for the most part. If you have really sensitive fish, that's the only way that I may say you may want to get something a little bit upgraded. And by sensitive fish, I mean like discus. Discus, you can't, you need your water to be like 100% pure, no issues whatsoever, or you risk losing them. So, thank you, Nisi, for linking the website. Red Roof Floaters, do they need CO2 to keep the roots red? Nope. They just like a lot of light. If you have a lot of light, the leaves will actually turn red. Too much light, you'll actually burn them. I actually have them in a tank where they get so much light that they actually crisp up. So, just, yeah. I've had it for 6 months, the moss ball. So do you roll the moss ball around? Because typically what happens, and why moss balls typically turn gray or die out of nowhere, is because somebody just puts it in their aquarium and then they don't do anything with it. They just leave it alone. And that's actually not what you need to do. You actually need to kind of rotate it every couple, like every week or so. You need to do it like a quarter turn. Because what happens is if you leave the bottom resting on the gravel or whatever, it gets no light whatsoever, and then starts to die from the inside out, and then eventually it just all dies. So the idea is you rotate it, and there you go. Okay, thanks. Maybe my fish store was wrong. They said something about keeping the roots red and CO2. No, red roof floaters do not need CO2 because red roof floaters actually sit on top of the water, and their leaves are what's exposed to the CO2, and they get all the CO2 that they need from the atmosphere. They don't need CO2-rich environment in their water because they don't have anything in the water that absorbs CO2. It's all above it. So, but really good light is what turns them red. Having them directly under your light will turn them bright red. I actually have some. They are like, I would say like blood color. That's how red they are. I always have trouble inserting root tabs, gel caps into fluoride substrate. Any recommendations, different tweezers or tabs? Yeah, the gel capsules in fluoride substrate specifically can be a problem. What you want to do, and you got to do it fast, is you want either straight or the curved, or not curved, but like slightly at an angle tweezers. And what you want to do is when you start, you want to do it quick. When you start to put it down into the substrate, you want to kind of rock the tweezers back and forth to kind of like bore a little hole in the substrate to get the root tab down in there. And then you kind of want to shake the tweezer once it's all the way down at the bottom, or as far down as you could get it. You want to kind of shake the tweezer so the gravel kind of backfills in around it, and then you want to let go as you're doing that, and so that way as the gravel kind of falls back into place, it will it'll collapse on top of the root capsule and keep it down. But with gel capsules, you have to do it extremely quick just because they dissolve within a couple minutes. Root tabs from the start of a setup, or wait a few weeks, and just dose fertilizers until plants are settled down. So John, that really is going to depend on the starting conditions of your tank. If you use a really good substrate, you can wait about 3 to 6 months before using root tabs. And by good substrate, I mean anything with high organics, such as like aqua soils, the contra soils that we sometimes sell, anything that's the small pelletized clay that if you pinch it, it falls apart in your hands when it's dry. That's what you're looking for. That's usually high in organics. Now, if you started your tank with, say, gravel or sand, root tabs right away, just because they're gonna the plants are gonna be looking for nutrients at the roots, and that is the best way to give it to them. What is the right place to place the canister filter inlets and outlets? So usually the way you want to keep your filters flowing is you want I like to put, so the intake is on one corner in like the very far back, and the spray bar or the output is in either that same corner or is stretched across that nearest wall. Because what happens is the spray bar will push around the situation for canister filters, or really any filter. But canister filters are what you can adjust things for. Because you want the water, if you put the inlet or the intake on one side and the output on the other, well, yes, you're circling the water through, but the moment it gets here, it's getting sucked up, so there's nothing recirculating it back around. So the idea is you have it over here, and the water has to travel all the way around to get back to that point. So it requires it to do a full revolution around the tank, essentially. Do you recommend any other types of root tabs that are not the gel type? Me personally, no. I really like the root tabs we sell. That's what I use. I don't know if you have our root tabs. They do use a gel capsule, but they're not the clear ones. They're a more sturdy blue one that are a bit easier to use, in my opinion. If you're using the gel clear ones, like with Osmocote, those are a bit tricky. They're a bit of a pain in the butt to work with, just because they dissolve really quickly, as opposed to the ones that we have. They're a little bit more sturdy, and they have a little bit more give until they dissolve. Like they have maybe like another couple minutes before they dissolve, as opposed to the regular gel ones. Any tips on pond plant care? Can some of them be grown indoors? Yes, absolutely. A bunch of plants can be grown indoors. As a matter of fact, let me show you guys. Give you a brief look. I know that room's a little bit of a mess right now, but if you look in that top corner there, those are a bunch of pond plants, and right here is a bunch of pond plants. So that's what we got going on. A bunch of pond plants. They're all grown indoors. It's just a matter of having a good enough light for them. I mean, these are obviously in a window, so they get a good amount of light, but they also have good lights above them. And for the most part, they're growing. Now, some obviously didn't work out, but the ones that did, they're growing really good. So you'd think they're Thrive Sea Green. Let me check Thrive Sea Green and see what that is, because I don't know which particular. Oh, they don't have. He doesn't have a picture of them. I'm not sure what these are. I'm guessing that they're probably the gel capsules that I'm thinking of. If they're blue, then they should be good. Maybe I don't know how long it's taking you to get them down in there, but you have to kind of really plan out where you're putting them and be precise with how you're planting them and be really quick about it. Yeah, it does one dark green. Okay. Yeah, it's probably the fact that that they're maybe just taking you a little bit longer than normal to put it in there. Snails in my tank, worried. What can be done to avoid? Well, personally, I wouldn't worry about snails. For the most part, snails are very beneficial to your aquarium. I was the same way, though, when I first started. I was paranoid about snails. I thought they were the worst thing ever. Turns out they're extremely good for your aquarium. So, if you... Oh, I just realized I was turned a little bit too much there. There we go. So yeah, so if you have snails and it's more of along the lines of you're scared, you're not worried, you're not so much sure what they're going to do to your aquarium, I just wouldn't worry about it that much. Snails usually only help to clean the aquarium. They don't do anything to harm your aquarium, and they're kept in check with how much food you feed, and they're really good indicator. If you're overfeeding, you'll have a lot more snails. The less you feed, the less snails you're going to have, because eventually they will munch on any decaying matter that's in the aquarium. So typically when you first put plants in your aquarium, they'll melt back a bit. The plants will eat the dying plant matter. It's dying anyway. You want the plants to eat, or you want the snails to eat it, because it helps break it down more for the bacteria in your filter and or the plants to reutilize. Now, if you want to get rid of the snails completely because you just don't like them or whatever the case is, you could dose certain chemicals. There's certain chemicals that remove them. There's manual removal. You can, go in there with tweezers or your fingers and pluck them out as you see them. You can put it in snail-eating fish. A little less recommended unless you are intending to keep that fish, because, like, say for puffers, they're very territorial. They need a certain type of tank conditions, and that might not be what you're looking for. And the other thing is traps. They actually make snail traps that you could toss in your aquarium that trap the snails in there. Now, I have used them. They work most of the time. The one thing I would say, though, is what's easiest is if you take a slice of cucumber, throw it in your aquarium overnight, come back in the early morning, right when you wake up to either go to work or go to school, turn on your light, look at that cucumber. There's going to be a bunch of snails on that cucumber. You take the cucumber out. If you want to toss it in the garbage. And then throw another cucumber back in there the next day. And you keep doing that until you don't pull out any more snails. Because essentially, they're going to be looking for that food. They're going to munch on it. Now, not all of them are going to be on it at one time. So you kind of have to do this over like a 2-week period. So you keep tossing in a cucumber every night. And then come back to it in the morning. Check it. Remove what's there. And that will slowly weed them all out. And you do have to do it for a while. Because odds are the snails have laid eggs in the aquarium. And they're going to continue to populate until you get every last one of them. So you're going to have to do it for quite some time. Now, ways to just avoid getting snails is you can check the plants thoroughly. Look for any hitchhikers when you first get them in. You can use a chemical dip when you before you put them in your aquarium. There are ways that you can buy like a chemical. You put it in the water, you dip the plants in it for X amount of time, and that will usually help kill any snails that are on it or any eggs. The trick is really the eggs, because any snails you're going to spot when you first take them out of your, however you got them. But the eggs are a little bit harder. They're normally like a clear, jelly-like feeling sticky substance that's on the leaves or under the leaves. Typically, you want to look on the stems and under the leaves. Most of the time, they're not going to be on top of the leaves. So you gotta look at the underside of the leaves, and that's typically where you'll see most of the snail eggs. And that's really those are the ways. But honestly, like I said, snails are really good. Snails are always having plant matter die off, so it's really good for that purpose. Now that we went off on a tangent about snails, let's see. Do you know about any edible aquatic plants? Well. Andre, a lot or Alexandri, right? Alexander, I think it is. Yeah, Alexander. So there's a lot of edible aquatic plants. Limno aromatica is a herb in Chinese culture. There's aquatic mint Charlie. Now, I wouldn't say to eat the plants that are in your aquarium, just because odds are you are dosing some sort of chemical, whether that be dechlorinator, maybe you're dosing liquid CO2, maybe you're dosing fertilizers for the plants. These are things, or antibiotics for the fish, or fish medicine. This is just stuff that I wouldn't consume, and I wouldn't recommend to consume. But if you say had like a little vase or something, and you want to put, like this one's dirty right now because I'm doing something with this wabikusa. But if you were to fill this up with water, stick an edible plant in it, and grow it, I mean, you could do that. Just keep in mind, whatever you're dosing in your aquarium, you're going to be consuming, and sometimes those things are not good. So, and then there's also edible pond plants, like aquatic mint is one that grows up out of the water. There's a variegated garlics that actually are garlic in a sense. They're more of like I would think of chives, if anything. Not essentially garlic, but very similar to garlic. And there's water onion plants, which I'm sure somewhere in the world they eat them, and we just grow them for decoration, so go figure. But yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, most plants are going to be edible. It's a matter of if they're tasty or not, and if you should be eating them. Now, like I said, I wouldn't recommend eating any plants out of your aquariums. You can use dog dewormer to get rid of snails if there are not that many. Check ammonia in the next couple days just in case. Yeah, so that's the other kind of critical moment when you are dosing things in your tank to get rid of like snails or planaria or any of these kind of pests that may pop up in your mind that are pests. When you dose these things and you kill off a large amount of organics, because they're organic, they're going to start to decompose, and you have to really keep an eye on your tank and the levels of your ammonia and nitrite and nitrites, because all this stuff is going to decompose and cause ammonia spikes and all these spikes to happen. So just keep in mind if you do ever do chemical dosing. That's a good point to bring up, Draco. Cucumber, does that harm my aquarium plants? Wow, I'm going to try this right now. Nope, cucumbers are fine. And most fish will even pick at them too if they get mushy enough, depending on the fish. But cucumbers are probably the easiest way if you want to get rid of snails. It's like the easiest. It does take a little bit longer, but you'd be surprised. Toss it in there before you go to bed and see what happens. What is the best way to acclimate new plants we order from you? Thank you for the question, Aztec. Best way to acclimate them is essentially let them come up to room temperature. So whether you're in a hot climate or a cold climate, depending on when you get them, you don't want to just take them from, say if it's 100 degrees outside, you don't want to take them instantly from inside and shove them in a 70 degree tank, because that's a huge temperature shock. You want to let them gradually come up to room temperature over like an hour or so. And then once they're at room temperature roughly, then you could toss them in, less shock for them. That is really ideal. Now, if you do want to get rid of, like I was explaining with snails, you could do dips like that. I always do recommend, though, do a visual inspection of the plants. Usually if you get like a little container of water, undo the pots or undo the bunches, lay them out, go over them real quick, try and be as thorough as possible, but obviously don't spend hours on, looking at the plants. But just give them a quick visual inspection, just because if you are worried about snails or anything, any types of algae, sometimes there's things we miss, sometimes things, that we can't just see right away. And those things, sometimes make its way to you. So it's always good to just give them a visual inspection. That's what, anytime I put a plant in my aquariums, like my show aquariums, I do look at them first. I give them a brief overview, make sure, okay, everything looks good, throw them in, Just because you never know. There could be anything in there. It just, it's possible. All dying snails and worms will increase the ammonia in your tank. Yep. That is very true. If you have shrimp, watch out for what chemicals you put in the tank. That is also true. Watch out for if you have shrimp or scaleless fish, such as coolie loaches or other types of loaches. Chemicals can affect them also. So, dog dewormer is shrimp safe, by the way. It doesn't affect inverts. Yes, dog dewormer is really good. I actually we use goat dewormer just because every once in a while we'll see, like a planaria or what are those other tiny little worms? I think like vinegar worms or something like that they're called. Or so I like, we try and keep things under control if there ever is a problem. So we pretty much dose like once every couple of weeks. I'll dose goat dewormer to help take care of any of those problems. So that way I don't have to, somebody may just not want them, and sometimes they're hard to spot. So we try and do our best to keep any kind of pest, because it does happen. Sometimes they just show up out of nowhere. Depending on where we get the plants from, they could have been growing outdoors in a large tub kind of setup, and you never know what's in there. So, yeah. Danielle says, I'm fighting algae on my Cuba carpet. I have Amanos and autos as well as 2 snails. They help, but what else can I do? Keep trimming. Thanks for your hard work, research, knowledge, and helpful videos. Thank you. I appreciate it. So on the Cuba, well, what type of algae is a question? Because depending on the algae is going to depend on my recommendation. Another good way is using a small breeding box and the cucumber method. So you just pull out the box from the top. Yeah, I guess that could work too. That's easy. You're right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you put the breeder box in, you put the cucumber in it, and then the snails will eventually find their way into it. That's equally as good too. Probably less hassle to get the cucumber out. It's easy if you just stick the cucumber on a fork, drop it in your aquarium, pull it out the next day, boom, there you go. Easy, squeezy, lemon cucumber. I don't know. So, yeah. Alright, I'm going to remove this overlay here. Window capture. Boop. Yep. Gone. Actually, I think I want to move this plant out of here because I don't know. I don't think it's getting enough light. I mean, it's not growing yet, but these things do take a while to get going. So, I don't know. I think I want to put a faster growing. I have a nice fern that I think I want to put over here. Originally, I was going to do an aquarium here, but I'm trying to get rid of aquariums, not add more. So we got about 5 more minutes or so, and then I'm gonna head out for this evening. Actually, while I have you guys here, I have a question. What kind of videos would you guys prefer to see next? Do you like tank builds? Do you like plant tutorials? Or like plant profile guide things? Because I'm kind of I'm kind of running out of ideas outside of redoing a couple of these tanks, and I'm probably gonna like put up a poll or something on the Facebook page and say, what do you want to see? Give me some video ideas. Because yeah, I'm running out of ideas actually. Surprisingly, yeah. But I was also thinking about touching on houseplants because I have so many, so I was thinking about doing some videos on those as well. Don't know. Without CO2, what would be the best best carpet kind of plants? So you're looking at dwarf sedge, you're looking at Monte Carlo. Dwarf four-leaf clover is my favorite, and my new favorite one is Litorella unifloria. It is a new carpeting plant that we just started carrying in on the website, and it is extremely easy to grow from what I've seen. I've been growing with no CO2, just a medium light. Yeah, very good. Q&A videos, plant profiles, maybe nanoponds. Yeah, plant profiles, I'm almost out of like plants to do. I mean, I would say I probably have maybe like 20 more species of plants that I could do videos on. The problem is though, like for sword plants, for instance, I did a video on 3 red swords, but now like I have like 4 other types of red swords, and I mean it's all kind of the same, so I feel like it's just repeating. I'm gonna eventually do it anyway, just so that way I can put them in the on the website so people know what they're what they're buying, and showing it in a video is helpful, I guess. But yeah, so an orchid would look nice, adding a bit of color. It would look really nice. I actually have a really nice orchid. Hold on, I'm gonna go grab it real quick that I just got. I'm really loving it. Hold on. So this guy right here. But the problem is I don't think this place gets enough light. So this is actually a spider orchid. Unfortunately, all the flowers are gone now. They all dried up. I'm probably going to cut this back here. But this is like my really cool favorite orchid right now. Way different than regular orchids. But I made this... so when we got it, I didn't really have an orchid pot, because orchid pots you really need like holes in the side, so that way air can pass through, because ideally orchids grow on trees. For anybody that doesn't know, they grow on the side of trees, and their roots are essentially just free air. Some of them make their way into the cracks on the bark and all that, but they're exposed to the air, and so they don't like being in wet soil. And so what you wanted to do is you want to make it so the roots have somewhere to grab onto, but that doesn't retain a lot of water. So I actually cut the bottom off a 2-liter bottle of Coke, or I think this was ginger ale, and just threw this in here, and it works out really good. I hope this guy's doing well. Like, he's got new growth down here. I just recently got this, but this is like weird how it's all like shriveled up and pruny. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like all pruny, but it's not like it has enough water. So I don't know. But like the other ones over here, I don't know. It's weird. It's the first time having one of these guys, but I really like this. Hopefully it does well. It's a very big one too at that. Yeah, we just got an order for somebody. Let's see. Rather large order. Thank you for the order, whoever it is. Let's see. It is Jason. Jason, thank you so much for your order. Oh, you ordered 2 mystery boxes. Nice. Or 3 mystery boxes. Or no, 2 mystery boxes. Yeah, 2 mystery boxes. Nice. Appreciate the order, Jason. If you're in here watching, thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. Read the last couple ones here. Adding color to planted aquarium video with low cost and no CO2 possible. Alright, that's a good idea. Like idea of tank builds as well as house plants, particularly where you can integrate with aquariums. Okay. I have a cheap LED and no CO2, and Monte Carlo grows great. That's my recommendation. Yeah, Monte Carlo is really good. Red and orange plants without CO2, which I use. Rotalas are a good one. They have a coloration. Ludwigia SP Red's really good, and Red Swords, Red Crypts, those are all really good. Would love to see houseplants coming out of the aquarium besides pothos or lucky bamboo. That's tricky. There are some that would work, but none of which I want to risk that I have. I like growing all my houseplants where they are, so it's a little tricky. That must be lightning. My dog's freaking out right now. But, yeah. Alright, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, or the live stream here. I'll be back in 2 weeks, so, and hopefully I don't have any issues coming up with that, so that would be the 24th, right? What are we, around the 10th? So we'll be back here on the 24th, yep. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, check out the website. We'll be restocking tomorrow, so if there's any plants you want to order, they'll be back there to tomorrow. And yeah, I want to say it's green spot algae. Probably not enough flow if it's causing. Thanks for talking in my ear while I got stuff done. You're very welcome. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your summer. It's nice and warm outside. And yeah, I'm going to see you guys soon. Later, guys.